Right, he went tumbling over to the canvas.
We're halfway through, and it's almost a point of no return for John David Jackson. I have a 59-54 with that extra point for knockdown. It's a five-point fight right now. It's just getting to be a lot.
And Jackson, not exactly known as a knockout puncher. 36-2 with 19 knockouts.
He needs to time Bernard Hopkins on the way in. See that loop? That loop's too slow.
Oh, look, yeah, he got wobbled again, but that's because he stepped on his foot. He's tangled. But that is a very slapping shot by John David Jackson. And then, Bobby and Freddie, on top of that, he leaves himself open. And we'll see if he pays for it.
He's got problems. He's not only got him, the Hopkins to worry about. He's got to keep arguing with the referee. I'm not holding him. He's holding me. He keeps saying to him, it's not me, it's him.
The clinching continues here now as they hang on.
This is what we call awkward in fighting.
Yes.
Tie one hand up, throw a little bit with the other hand, switch off and tie another hand up, and smack around a little bit. Nothing real effective happening here on the inside.
Let him up, Bernard. Let him up.
Well, this is bordering on what we see over and over again. Styles don't make the fight. This style is not pleasing to watch. One style is not fitting the other. One is survival, and the other guy's going all out for knockout.
There's the jab by John David Jackson trying to set up the left. It was flush on the face.
Yeah, but see, it wasn't
there.
Right. It wasn't a straight. It was a roundhouse. A southpaw is not supposed to throw a left hook. He's supposed to throw a right hook from his right hand.
And that gets Hopkins going. Here's the whole arsenal. A barrage by Bernard Hopkins to the body and head of Jackson in Jackson's corner. And the referee, Femia, looking on very closely here. Oh, look out. Oh,
that's a big right hand.
Right hand by Bernard Hopkins, and Jackson going through the ropes. And he continues to hit him. And that's it. It's over. Johnny Femia Jr. finally steps in and ends it, and Jackson does not know where he is.
He just was not defending himself. He didn't go down. The ropes actually hurt him. He would have better off going down, taking a knee, getting some rest, clearing his head, and getting back in the game, but he just didn't do what he had to do.
Well, it shows he wasn't there. His mind wasn't there. He was not conscious, and again, they did the right thing. He has no complaint about that. I think what Bobby just pointed out, the rope actually was his enemy, because he should have gone down. He couldn't. I don't think it would have made any difference if he got up, Bobby. He was gone.
And I think he thought that the referee was going to come in a moment earlier, and so he let his guard down, which of course is the first mistake, and Hopkins really went in after him after that.
This is one of those nights where you expect a great fight. Can't wait for it to happen, and then it doesn't happen. And there was a complete domination of Hopkins to Jackson. Jackson didn't have any idea how to fight him. His stance was wrong. He didn't know how to deliver the punch.
I was expecting the John David Jackson that showed up for the Castro fight, because he was fighting Castro well, beating him from pillar to post. And not that I expect him to do that to Hopkins, but I expected that type of style. In-out combination, step back and forth, because he fought a great fight against Castro, even though he stood in and punched with him where he shouldn't have. With Hopkins, I knew he wouldn't, but expected a little more from him.
Well, all expectations are not always met in boxing. This is one of those nights where we expected it. It didn't happen.
So Bernard Hopkins makes his fourth successful defense of the title.
Bernard Hopkins is here, the strength, big fact. You see him land a couple of big shots, then he works to the body. Big right hand there to the body, and again, up top, he rips it up. The left hand, the right hand, top of the head, side of the head. Bernard Hopkins kept the pressure on here, kept the punches, didn't load up with him, made sure they landed. And then you'll see John David Jackson does something on the ropes here that's awkward. He sits on it, and then comes almost through ropes, doesn't really go down, right there. Doesn't touch.
You see the ref?
The referee started to step in between them, and he got hit clean while the ref was there.
All right, from overhead, Bobby.
Yeah, here you see him, he's sitting on the, I think it's the bottom rope, the second to bottom rope. And now when he stands up, I think he thinks it's a knockdown. He drops his hands and he gets hit with 2 or 3 clean shots. And then the referee just completely stops the fight. I think there was some misunderstanding there on John David Jackson's part. And the referee was a little shaky for a minute.
Yes.
Okay, we all... You said you were going to take him, and you did from the very beginning.
Thanks, Doc. I'd like to give all praises be to Allah, bear witness there's no God but Allah, and the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. I'd like to thank my mother, Shirley, my father, Bernard Hopkins Sr. He couldn't make it today, Doc, and I'm glad to be here on Showtime again. and working with Don King and getting ready for maybe a unification. I hope so, Doc, because, you know, everybody wearing belts now. And everybody confused who the real champion is in all weight classes.
But that makes it all the more interesting because a guy like this can put all those rivalries together. You know, this is the end of another rivalry. You had a rivalry with this guy dating back to the Philadelphia, to the gyms. I think he put an answer to that, didn't you?
Yes, he did. Well, me and John David Jackson, I said it before, and I ain't holding no punches back, and said that John David Jackson taught me how to fight southpaws. I was 8-0 when I fought John when he was at top of his game at junior middleweight. I love him. I give him all respects. And you know what? It's just passing the torch down. If I need a southpaw, you know who I'm going to call? I'm going to call John David Jackson because he taught me. And he took me to school for a while. I said, I can't hit this guy. And I stuck with it. And John, I give you all the praises, man. You helped me. And you did a good job helping me get ready. Well, not training for Lipsy, but that southpaw stand was dangerous, man. And I paid a good price for it early in my career.
Would you say you buried the hatchet here tonight?
Well, it wasn't never no grudge and everything. But if you want to say bury the hatchet, I think that it comes a point when a man graduates. He was a teacher, and he passed me the apple, and then I got to take and teach somebody else.
Let me talk to the professor, because the professor had a bad night here tonight.
Yeah, well, first of all, I thank Don King Productions and Don King himself for allowing me to fight for the world title. He worked very hard and diligently to get it. I'm sorry that I let him down. I also thank Carl King, because he was very instrumental in getting me this title shot. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't have got it, and I just want to thank both of them very much. Bernard, you know, I underestimated him. I thought I didn't learn enough, but tonight he proved he did. The weight just really got to me too low. I've been fighting like 165 lately, you know. But I made no excuse. Young, strong young man. He proved tonight that he's a better man, and I can't take it.
You agree with the stoppage because it really did look like it was stopped right?
You know, I'm never going to agree to that. But the referee made the decision, and I respect that, and nothing I can do about it. Once again, I think DK and CK and everybody else, and Bernard, hey, you are the better middleweight, and I take my hat off to you, and God bless you and go for the best. I want to thank everybody that, hey, if you believe in the Lord and you love yourself, then anything possible in the world can happen. DK proved it, CK proved it, and my cornerman, I want to thank everybody. I let you down, but hey, I may be down in the boxing game. I'm not out in life. Thank you very much.
Well, that's a good show of sportsmanship. That's what we like to see in boxing.
One thing about John, I'm a little envy of him because he got a modeling career. I don't look that good.
Well, the way he punches, he'll need a model career. He's
All right, that's very nice.
Top bid, long white ball. Top bid.